What is happening, my friends? What is happening? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin podcast presented by Rugged Evolution Beer Care. Rugged is the new smooth. Look, this is the show where you get to sit back, relax, have a great conversation with your bro, your homie. I'm Arrington Gavin, again, coming to you with new episodes here every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast. So wherever you listen to your podcast, hey, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin podcast. All you have to do is very simple. Type in our Smooth Club and you will find some great content there. Also, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Our Smooth Club Media, as well as our Facebook page, Our Smooth Club podcast, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm gonna keep on saying that. Also on X, formerly known as Twitter. So I'm just so happy and excited to have you all here on this great day, because we are going to be having some great conversations with a good friend of mine. As you know, this is election season. Okay, it is election season, so I've been having a lot of my friends with different positions in politics, right? Whether if they're a campaign manager, consultant, candidate, official, former official, you name it. We have the great people that can share great thoughts and opinions on local, state, as well as federal elections. But it's very important when it comes to your local elections. I've said it countless of times. We see it a lot in the mainstream media as far as, hey, the presidential races and elections. But guess what? You always have to stay focused of what's happening in your backyard. In your backyard, you have to know who is the people serving on your council, on your school board, different committees. You have to be involved and be informed. In a sense, you gotta be woke, right? In a sense, right? Because guess what? If you're not, what's the opposite of woke? Asleep. So if you're sleeping, not knowing what's going on in your community, you don't know what's happening. And as a business owner like myself, I'm always involved, attending all the events. I'll attend, my friends on the conservative side, my liberal friends, because you know, I'm a middle guy. I don't go with the herd. I'm friends with everybody. I'm a social butterfly. So again, enough with my rant. I want to introduce you to my good friend, Mr. Clarence Khalil Neely. He is the host of one of the longest running, probably the longest running radio show in the East Coast, really, in Crusade For Christ, where you can tune into his show every mornings, Monday through Fridays, I believe 6 a.m. on WPCE 95.3 FM if you're in the Hampton Roads area. And I'm pretty sure you can tune in live online to that. He's also the co-host of Poolside Cooking, the TV show. It's a very popular TV show here out in the area. You can tune into it in the Hampton Roads area as well as in Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm getting it right. But Clarence is a guy that we also used to host a radio show too, called Viewpoint. I was very, very excited. That was kind of like my debut in radio. And he was a guy that mentored me around the boards and all that good stuff. So we've had a great time on that show. And the best part about it is Viewpoint, which stands for Viewpoint. We might have been two different spectrums politically, two different age groups, but you know what? We were friends. At the end of the day, we all met in the middle, and we had great guests and so on and so on. So very excited to have him on. Without further ado, let me introduce my good friend, Mr. Clarence Khalil Neely. Clarence, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fine, brother. Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome. I like this thing. I like this. The Arrington Gavin show.
You're a
smart guy. You're a very smart guy.
Thank you for those kind words. I'm always continuing to build and to build the resume and continue to get more active on really my passion. I've told you before, I've always had a passion for radio. I consider myself a conversationalist. I've always loved to I learn more amongst conversations. So thank you so much for those kind words. This is almost like a reunion, a Viewpoint reunion.
Yeah, it is, man. You see our logo in the back, Viewpoint.
I see the logo
in the back. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. What's your V?
There you go. There you go.
I toyed with, maybe doing a couple episodes. You know what I mean with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at this XM radio deal. But the channel that they wanted to put it on was not the whole format that I would like. It was like some really, really, like real trap. Not that I don't like trap, but this
wasn't the path you were.
Show was geared towards so many types of people. You know what I mean? So I wanted to keep it real mellow, kind of like almost like the music I play in the morning on Crusade for Christ. That real mellow stuff when we're talking. That I wanted to kind of do something like that. Not I don't want no whole bunch of gangster rap and rock and all that stuff. It was just something real nice, relaxing. Because so now that same concept I'm doing is called Water. Okay, Water. It's not a podcast, not a TV show, it's not a radio show. It's a journey. Okay, it's a journey. It's a journey into your creativity. Okay, because we never really cover the spiritual side of our journeys. Oh, as creatives, it's always go, 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 go. Okay, but there's an inner side that we would like to talk about. What's that journey really like? You know what I mean? Because the way the journey is set up is that you have to go through all of the trials and the tribulations of that journey to get to the great point that you may be at now, or even striving for greater points.
That's true.
So
water.
That's what water is all about. Because we're made up of 73% water. So everything, and then when you look at creation, when you think about life, everything's come from water. When you were born, you came out of your mom's water. So that's the concept. It's a spiritual journey, and that spiritual journey may be audio. It may be a video like this. It could be live out on the beach, but it's going to be somewhere near water.
Okay, we will be staying tuned for that, man. Yeah. That's exciting. As I mentioned before, you are the host of Crusade for Christ, and which is one of the longest running radio shows, if I'm not mistaken, it could on the East Coast. I mean, a very long running show, very
Virginia,
popular
in
Virginia, very very popular. And that show has been known as a community what's the word I'm looking for? A community staple, because you've had on great guests on there, and especially during the political scene. Kiwa have you on the show, because you've interviewed majority of the top tier candidates, from congressional candidates, Senate candidates, even presidential candidates. So I mean, you've spoken with all of them. Let's kind of get in the grift of things. Let's talk about our local election here in the Hampton Roads area. How important are the elections happening in Hampton Roads? How big are these elections?
These are very big right now. This election cycle is real tricky, okay, because it's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of moving parts this election, okay. The governor needs to keep the House, okay. They want to keep the boy in there. The man is the Speaker of the House in there now. I forget his name. But then they want to get, it's a big effort to get Don Scott as a Speaker of the House. Okay.
Don Scott, who's majority leader of the Virginia Democratic Party.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's a lot of moving parts. This thing. The governor has to win that House, because if not, he could have the potential to become a lame duck governor. Okay. A lot of people are moving into some very powerful positions. But in terms of the industry that we're in, or the industry that we're aspiring to be in, the cannabis industry, it looks real good for us this time. Okay. So the politics has been real tricky. Kind of like you said, juggling between the Democrats, the Republicans. It's some really, really interesting races. This time around, looks like I'm kind of leaning towards the Democratic Party.
Okay. Would you say you're more of a middle guy, Clarence? Like, how would you? I mean, if you want to share that,
I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I'm a solutionist. Okay, I'm a solutionist. I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm a solutionist. That might even become a party, the solutionist party. Because it's all about solutions. Okay, and that's why I'm so highly against negative campaign ads. I'm highly against that, especially when it's between us, when it's between two black men.
Got you, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Two black people.
I'm glad you brought that up, because in the Virginia Beach side, right, for the state Senate, you have a race between current Senator Aaron Rouse and Kevin Adams, who's a Republican candidate, and both of them, I believe, Aaron Rouse, he won in a special election, which was in a different district. Now, with the district being changed, happens to be a new race happening between the two, and like you mentioned, two men of color. Attack ads going back and forth. We happen to now I know Aaron very well. I don't know Kevin Adams too well, but you happen to know both of them.
Yep.
Has it been like what's your take on, say, the strategy both campaigns are looking like? Is one campaign?
That's a very good question. It's a very good question. And if it was a boxing match, the Democrats be getting ready for the knockout punch, okay? or this they would have been leading in all the rounds, okay? If this was a boxing match, the Republicans, as it relates to the black candidates, suck. I mean, totally suck. Okay, I mean, the marketing strategies and different things like that are not going to work with the black voter. I am totally sorry. Okay. And that's my take. I mean, you just can't allow, and see, the Republican Party, the higher ups, even though it's a black man that's the chairman of the Republican Party here in Virginia, he still has to take orders from the bigger people. When it comes down to certain elections.
Got you.
And so when they design these ads, they don't know how to really target the black vote, and they need the black vote right now. They need the black vote, but they don't know how to target us. Okay, we're not back. The black race now has become so diverse. You know what I mean? It's so diverse now. We're not the Yesa Massa Negroes no more. You know what I mean? We're bossed up now. We're bossed up.
Well, like you said,
billionaires.
The Republican Party, they really have to earn the black vote. But wouldn't you agree that the Democratic Party has to earn the black vote as well? Because
it's
I
not
think
so much
in today's
earning the black vote, it's marketing to the black vote. And yes, you're right. They have to earn our vote, both parties. But the Democrats, in my opinion, have been doing a great job at marketing their candidates. I mean, right now they're doing a very good job, and I'm really surprised that the polls, the little local polls that we do, Mike Flagan, the retired Air Force Master Sergeant,
Mike, I know Mike very well.
Greenhall, and that's very surprising.
Because
he's pushing
hasn't
hard.
held any.
He's pushing really hard,
and he's sort of the rookie entering in the field. He's never held a position. And it's funny when you mentioned about the attack ads, because I remember seeing an attack ad against Michael Figgins, and I'm like, wait a minute,
they did. And that's the thing.
He hasn't served in office before, and he's against Greenhall, Karen Greenhall, I believe is his opponent.
Yeah, and it makes me question: is the Republican Party about issues, are they about just bashing? Are they about solutions, or are they just about bashing? This is what I'm starting. I'm trying to figure out the Republican Party, because they're the ones that's throwing out these attack ads. I'm not talking about attack. I mean, like attack. You know what I mean? Like talking about your personal lives and all that kind of stuff. That's uncalled for.
Well, I was talking with the
leadership speaks for itself. Leadership speaks for itself, Arrington.
I would say,
go ahead, brother.
I would say this, because I actually, and it's funny because a buddy of mine who's actually doing a on his podcast, he's actually interviewing a candidate for state senate out of predominantly Chesapeake. He's interviewing him this evening, so we were on the phone talking about questions and things like that. But one thing I would say to respond to what you had mentioned about the attack ads, I think we have to realize in politics now, controversy wins, right? Controversy wins. Any form of stepping outside of the norm is gonna gravitate to to a voter. And it's sad, but it's like, hey, look, the more allegations they might have, or the more vocal and vicious they are, hey, people like that. People like a hard nose, because again, I think voters are tired, and voters are sick of for one, boom, cost of living is increasing. They're sick of the unmade promises, so on and so on. As far as for the attack ads, I think that it hurts people that are mainly like never caring about voting, and then it strengthens people that are like, well, look, I'm always gonna be on this side regardless. So these attack ads are true, and they'll believe it, and then they'll continue to spread it. Is the reason why. Because I mean, let's be honest, these campaigns, they spend a lot of money on these ads, these attack ads, and some of them are extremely corny, but they spend a lot of money where they could be spending to radio stations or to say, hey, look, I want to use this money to do more sit down forums with the community. They could be doing stuff like that so the community individual residents can actually know the candidates more, rather than just through a 30-second commercial of bashing the other opponent. I mean, it's, I guess that's the culture right now in politics.
That's the culture, brother. It's the culture. It's an ugly culture, but we can't put politics before our people. You know, and I mean black people. We can't let politics, like in other words, the parties separate us. That's what I'm totally against. Because neither party right now deals with the actual issues. If they did, we would have saw some solutions to things. This is why every time somebody runs, you hear the same campaign promises over and over and over again. And so, which tells me that's nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
So if they have to say the same things over and over and over again, nothing's getting done. So what tells me we're not actually hiring the right politicians. We need people that are going to get it done, like Louise Lucas. Like a Aaron Rouse. Just to name a few, like a Angela Williams. Like a Bill DeSteth. Guys, to get it done.
I got you.
Get it done. So that's what we need right now, man. So I pray for Governor Youngkin. I pray for him. I think he should, and I'm sure he does, because he has a great strategy team, and I'm sure they're kind of rethinking the presidential strategy prior to November 7th, because if he becomes a lame duck governor, it's not going to look good for him jumping into the presidential race. So there's got to be another strategy that they have if that happens. You know what I mean? And it's got to be a strong strategy, because Donald Trump will eat him alive.
Even if he has a successful, talking about current governor Glenn Youngkin, if he has a successful, say, if he completes his term as governor and is fairly successful, do you think, even if he thinks about running for higher office, do you think it's not too early? Because for me, when I'm hearing about multiple people saying, oh yeah, he's gonna probably either make a bid or is talks that he wants to run for office. I'm like, run for office? He just became governor. I think, for me, I think it's a little early, and I understand if you're already on a high of the victory, and the fact that the Republican Party is probably looking at him like, well, he's a clean cut guy. He is not, he's not what the current leader is right now. Because let's be honest, Trump is kicking ass in the polls as far as representing as for the Republican candidate. And absolutely. I mean, and I'm no Republican, but I will say, like, out of the which we'll talk more on the presidential side a little later on the show, but to kind of stay within our local elections. Okay, so we have Aaron Rouse, Kevin Adams. Which Kevin Adams is also a rookie as well, too. I don't think he's ever served.
Yeah. Well, he ran, of course, he ran the special election in the special election with Aaron, and Aaron beat him then, and now he's running again in the general election in November for that same seat. That's Jen Kagan's old seat.
That's right. That's right.
But it's a tough race. It's a tough race. Two great leaders. I just think the Republican Party is using Kevin in a really bad way. But he should know better and not sign off on everything. Okay, that's in my opinion. It's using him in a bad way, and I think they need to have better people marketing our black candidates in the Republican Party.
when you say using, could you be like for example, what do you mean by they're using in the wrong way? Because kind of have a theory of what you mean by that, but if it's okay, if you can share, kind of go into deep details what you mean by, using this individual as their candidate. What are you kind of leaning towards on that one?
If you had 10 men right now standing in front of you, okay, 10 men standing in front of you right now, how many of them do you think would have traffic violations?
That's a good question. Just 10 at least
10 men. How many you think will have traffic violations?
I'm gonna say at least 5, at least 4 to 5.
Speeding tickets, parking tickets, DUIs. How many do you think out of 10 men?
I'll go with out of that. I'll say 4. I'm gonna go with a solid 4.
You're very low. You're very low. It's about 9. Okay, it's about 90% of men have had some type of traffic violation in their life. Okay, all right. So let's take 10 single fathers that's not with their baby's mama or their wife's baby's mother or wife. How many of those men out of 10 black men would have child support issues?
Out of that 10, and you're saying all of them are single fathers?
Yeah, they're not with their spouses. The kids are just they're not. The families aren't together. Put it that
way. Because I wasn't lucky on the first go round, I'll say 6.
That's fair. That's fair. So that's above average. In your opinion, that's above average. So what I'm saying, mine is a little higher than that. It's I don't know the actual statistics for that, but it's probably in it like 80%. Okay, so when you mention things like that in a campaign ad, okay, number one,
before you continue that, before you continue that, the reason why I picked that 6 number, just to kind of explain to the viewers and the listeners, is not that I'm saying, black fathers always got some. Let's just be honest. When it comes to the justice system, when it comes to custody battles between fathers and mothers are always going to be victorious, in my opinion, in the justice
absolutely.
system. So I just want
90% of the time they're all going to be victorious.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there before. Look, my views gonna be like, Arrington, what you trying to say? All these black men ain't, no, because I'm a black man myself. But I ain't meant to cut you off, Clarence. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to
but so that's what I mean. There's certain ways that you market to the black community, and if you're a leader, a true leader does not have to talk bad about anybody else to make their self look good. A leadership is going to speak for itself. Okay, it's going to speak for itself. And so you don't really have to run any negative ads, because if you're a true leader, you're going to speak to yourself. Like the old saying goes, cream always rises to the top. And it's the same way. So if you're a true leader and God really meant you to do this, then you're going to go right to the top, bro. Okay?
I like
you don't
that.
have to even say nothing bad about anybody.
Yeah, I like that, because in all honesty, like where my thoughts were with it was, and best believe, I truly believe, like there's more black conservatives than people actually think that lives in the world. Like people are always, I think, shocked when they see a black Republican or a black conservative. It's more than you expect. But I think when it comes to big elections, I think marketing wise, to say a Republican Party, to them, they're like, ooh, a person of color will really thrive it, because at the end of the day, they're trying to encourage, see, if it can happen to this guy, it can happen to anybody. Because let's be honest, on the presidential race with Senator Tim Scott out of South Carolina, he's always bringing up his story of his upbringing in South Carolina. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And that's a hell of a selling point to voters and to people that are like, so that's where I kind of saw it with the gentleman that is running against Aaron Rouse. But it is a tight election. It was a tight election during the special election, which me and you both, I think we left after a
we were
recording
there.
show.
Yeah,
and we were there when history really was made. We were there.
That's right.
At the watch party, and it's gonna be a tough one.
In Virginia Beach.
It's gonna be a tough one. Another election I want to bring up too, Clarence. What about Michael? Is it Carlake? Did I get that last?
You went against Kelly Fowler.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike Karslick.
What's your thoughts on that race? Because I believe him, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like so they also have a third party candidate in that running in the independent Nicholas Olenek, which you're starting to see a lot of third party candidates, I think, in elections because again, I guess unmade promises on both sides. People are like, well, look, let me run third party. Let me see if I have a chance doing that. But what's your thoughts on that election?
Again, if it was a boxing match, I have to give it to Kelly Fowler. Okay. It was a boxing match. I have to give all rounds right now to Kelly Fowler. Mike Karslick, good business guy. Really good business guy. Nice guy. Political savvy, I don't see it in him. I don't see it in him, especially for the climate now. Okay, the way the climate is now, I don't see it in him. Okay, but great guy. But Kelly Fowler's going to whoop his ass in this election.
Okay. Last local race, and I want to.
It's a sport to me now. Politics is a sport.
Oh yeah. I agree with you on that one, sir.
And I'm the referee. No, now I ain't gonna say the referee because sometimes I call it. I'll call it in a minute. But like even with when I had Lionel Sproul and Louise West. I'm sorry, Louise Lucas.
Yep.
Louise West is an actual entertainment lawyer. But I had Senator Louise Lucas and Lionel Sproul. And that was a blessing because I got a chance to get two bright minds, one on Monday morning and one on Friday morning. So I was kind of surrounded by two awesome leaders in Virginia that have over 30 years of political experience. So just imagine
not combined. That's each
knowledge that I absorbed from those two. Okay, especially Senator Louise Lucas. She is a wealth of information and knowledge, and she's willing to pass it on and share. She's a very, very effective woman. Make no mistake about it. That sister cut her top of her head. She hit her head on something and it was bleeding. She still made it to the station at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
To do the show. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Her leadership, see, she can be cocky. She could be like Muhammad Ali. Remember, Muhammad Ali was real cocky, but he could back his cockiness up.
Oh, absolutely.
Ali could back his cockiness up, and that's Louise Lucas. She can back her cockiness up.
For people that have criticized Senator Louise Lucas, and I've only had the opportunity to meet her once, and I hope to meet her, plenty of other times, because it was a very tight race between her and Senator Sproul at the time, because they were both running for the same race, and again, it was hard to see one of them. Whoever wins, it's like, okay, boom, it happens. But again, for the long-term service that each one has put in, it was a hard race to see. But I would say that for people that criticize Louise Lucas, I mean, and people from her own party will criticize her, but they have to realize what I always respond with. You have to realize she's very vocal. She's very vocal, and she's not scared. In my opinion, there's a lot of quiet people right now. On not a lot, but there's a certain amount of quietness on the Democratic side in comparison to on the I wouldn't say this. I'll say there's quiet people in politics, right? And I feel like quiet doesn't benefit when it comes to earning the vote of residents. People want to hear you talk. People want to see you fight. I mean, fight for real. And I mean, with Senator Louise Lucas representing mostly a good portion of Portsmouth. I mean, come on. Portsmouth's got a lot of stuff going on, at least on local, council wise. But she's the one that brought in the casino. She's the one that's help, front and center with the cannabis. Like you mentioned before, cannabis is starting to really build up as a form of economics in the state of Virginia. So it will be a tight race because excuse me, her opponent, I believe his name is Tony Goodwin. Is her opponent.
I spoke to him one time and that was it. I don't think he's got a chance in hell, to be honest. I mean, I'm just being straight up honest with you, man. He doesn't have a chance in hell.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. A tough one to beat Senator Louise Lucas.
Yeah. Louise Lucas, come on, bro. That's like preparing for an Ali fight. Come on, bro. That's like preparing for an Ali fight, man. But nonetheless, I think that some of the other Mike Fagans against Karen
Mike
Fagans, Fagans, I'm sorry, Mike Fagans, the Master Sergeant from the Air Force. That's a great race, and he's coming up quick. The Democratic Party is putting a lot of money behind it. People are putting a lot of money behind it.
Well, I will say this. I know Mike very personally. He's a great dude. He's a he's very smart. He has always worked behind the scenes where he gets his experience. I know he worked, I think, with Bobby Scott many of times. He's been up front. He served our country, retired vet. I think he served maybe like 20 plus maybe years. And now he's a businessman. He has a lot of support with him. I know recently he was on Roland Martin Unfiltered because Roland Martin came to the Hampton Roads area.
Right, I was there. I was there that night.
You was there. And see, I was out of town in DC, so I saw it from my hotel room. But I mean, that's a man who will ask you tough questions, and the fact that you still stood up straight, continue to answer those questions, answer questions from your people that was in attendance. That's sharp for a person that's running for office. For a person that doesn't have any political experience. So I thought it was a sharp look. I will say, what's your thoughts, Clarence, on term limits? Because we mentioned Senator Louise Lucas, Lionel Spruill, both of them 30 plus years in office. Now, I'll be honest, I'm vocal when it comes to candidates 70 and over. That's just, not candidates, but excuse me, politicians 70 and over. It's not the fact that I think they can't handle it cognitive wise. I just think that it's time to have, the opportunity for someone a little slight younger to fall in line and, hey, be a mentor of them, help them throughout that process. But it's like when you see politicians that holds on to a position for so long, we don't want to see nobody die in that position, but it's like, when is enough enough? You know what I mean? Like when is enough enough?
Well, first, brother, you have to understand the power. The power in those positions. Okay. When you're in the seat of power, brother, power is not given to anybody. Okay. Power is taken. Okay. And in our case, in political case, power is taken by a vote and by electing somebody in. So you want to hold on to power as long as you possibly can. Okay. And this is why you see presidents going until 80 years old. Both Trump and Biden are going toward their 80s. Lionel Spruill's approaching the 80s. Louise Lucas approaching the 80s. Because they are in that seat of power. Okay. And until you can find that replacement, just like I always tell you in radio and media, I said, if anybody that I know, my replacement would be Arrington Gavin. Okay, so you got to, as a leader, you identify that replacement, but still hold on to your seat of power. Okay, and then but when you're ready to give it, you have the right person to give the seat of power to. That's how powerful Caucasians have been running politics. That's why the Kennedys stayed in power. That's why the Bushes stayed in power. And so hopefully I answer your question. It's a power thing, bro.
It's a power thing. No, definitely understand it. So we're gonna walk away from the local side. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about the presidential election, because I don't know if you've been watching the past couple of Republican debates, presidential debates. I'm definitely been glued in with the presidential races going on. Right now, as far as if we split all the parties up, there's only but two candidates right now, as of right now, in the Democratic side. That is current President Joe Biden, and then candidate who progressive candidate Marianne Williamson. At the time, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was one of those Democrats, but he has since then announced that he's entering an independent. Um, we had Dr. Cornel West. He entered the race. He was in the People's Party at first, and he switched to the Green Party. Now he's as an independent as well. Going on to the Republican side, there's many names. There's Nikki Haley, former governor of South Carolina. I mentioned Senator Tim Scott earlier. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's a newcomer, billionaire, entrepreneur, young guy, the youngest guy I believe in the race. Former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie. Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. I feel like former Vice President Mike Pence, and I believe there was another gentleman out of North Dakota. See, this is how popular he is when you start forgetting his name. Something Burgum, I think, out of North Dakota, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a lot of people running on the Republican side, few on the Democratic side, but the independent, the third party is actually, it's getting juicy. It really is, because when I remember personally when I heard Cornel West running, who I'm a huge fan of, and he is a man that's, I believe, 70, 71, 72, but he was coming after both sides. So I'm like, okay, this is good, because you rarely hear a third party candidate really. You might have a libertarian in that race. And then you had Robert F. Kennedy on his side, who was kind of like the Democrat that not all Democrats probably would choose, because of his stance on the vaccine, being a anti-vaxxer. So that that hurt him. But there's a lot of candidates in the Republican side. What's your thoughts, Clarence, just on the Republican side as of right now? Who is somebody that kind of caught your attention, set aside from former President Trump being held high in the polls right now as that Republican nominee? Anybody else on the Republican side? Anybody that kind of caught your eye?
No. No. Trump's just too strong. He's too strong. No, it's like asking the average citizen in Portsmouth who Louise Lucas's opponent is. They wouldn't know. Okay, they wouldn't know. For real. They wouldn't know. And that's just how the Republican presidential candidates are to me now. I don't even. You matter of fact, I was really impressed with you knew who all of them were. I was really impressed. I really was, because the only one I really know is Pence and Trump. All the rest of them are insignificant to me. And like I said, if Trump gets through all of this that he's going through, if he gets through all this, he deserves to be president. Okay, that's a strong statement. That's a very strong statement. If he gets through all of this, what he's going through, indictments here, indictments there, he deserves to be president.
Do you really think
it's see what's happening, because they're grooming Glenn Youngkin? Now, you were saying it might be too early, might be this. Well, first of all, you have to understand where Glenn Youngkin comes from.
Oh yeah,
okay? Position was the CEO of the Carlyle Group. One of the largest hedge funds in the United States. Okay, that group is tied into the global group that control the world. Okay, so you've heard that old saying: presidents are elected, they're selected. Have you ever heard that term before?
Yeah, I think that might be the first time I've heard that term.
Barack Obama became president, people say he wasn't elected, he was selected. Okay, let me explain that. When you're selected, they approach you years before you even go for the office. I would guarantee you that someone is about to approach Aaron Rouse about a senatorial position. I'm talking about U.S. Congress.
Ooh.
And eventually leading into a vice president or even a presidential candidate.
Wow.
Okay, because they watch you and see you years before you become what they want you to become. Okay, they study people all around, and just like Barack Obama, no one know who the hell he was until that damn Democratic convention.
That's right. That's
okay?
right.
Nobody knew who the hell Barack Obama was. But then all of a sudden he came as a state senator to a U.S. senator, and then from a U.S. senator to a president. Okay? A president, and not just president, but the first black president. So Glenn Youngkin is being selected. And now he'll be strategically put in a position where he'll gain public support, even some Democrats. He'll gain public support. Okay. And he'll probably be the fourth. Now, his biggest problem would be Trump. But what would be smart if Trump gets through all this is pick him as a running mate. If he gets through all this. If not, then Glenn Youngkin's going to be the head man. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be that guy. Okay. Now he's been beating Joe Biden. Do I think Youngkin could beat Joe Biden? I think he could. I really think he could with the powers that will jump behind Glenn Youngkin. Okay. It's like a mother and father being divorced. Okay. And what I mean by that is because Joe Biden is loved by the globalist and Glenn Youngkin is loved by the globalist. Okay. They're both loved by the globalists. But now you see this young, bright, sharp governor in Virginia that's really making some power moves. And you got this old guy, 80 years old, that can hardly go up the steps of Air Force One. No, I'm not joking. I'm just being serious.
Well, I think too.
World War III on the horizon. A potential World War III on the horizon. You need a person in office now that can not only lead but sell.
Well,
I mean by sell, be diplomatic. Very similar to the way Barack Obama was.
And I was just about to say, I think if we have to be honest about President Joe Biden, it was an election where, let's be honest, people wanted to get Trump out of office by all means necessary.
Right.
Biden was most likely not everybody's first go round pick. I mean, it really wasn't. It's like now, because when it's funny when I always hear about people complain about his age, I'm like, well, hell, y'all knew what age he was when he ran, when he entered in the race. I mean, would you expect him to stay at that age when he entered the race? So, again, the age thing is really not a big deal as far as for Biden. Like, I will say, I'm not a fan of Biden. He wasn't my first pick, nor do I want to see him run for office again. But it's just Democrats right now are struggling to find that go-to candidate to represent that party, and for president.
Kamala
so it's like
Harris,
they're stuck.
I rethink my stance on Kamala Harris as a president. Okay, at first I just nah, she's not that chick. Okay, she's not that chick. But then, as this conflict arises in Israel, I'm taking a closer look at her as being a president. Okay. Number one, her husband is Jewish. Okay. And as crazy as this sounds, I support Israel on this move. I know that. I mean, I don't mean to say as crazy as it sounds because, everybody has their own opinion. But I support Israel on this. And I say that because the Bible, Proverbs 13:22, something I've been talking about all along. the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous.
Mm.
And the wealth that's due to us, is going to come from the globalists, the powers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. The Zionist. You heard that term? Zionist.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's deep.
The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, brother. Study what a Zionist is. You watch your Instagram, and your TikTok. You'll be hearing that word Zionist coming up a lot. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden said he was a Zionist in several different speeches. A Zionist is a person of an elite group. Political, business, everything. Entertainment, everything. That's kind of like how to describe a Zionist. Now, you'll hear people say it's the Jews and this, that, and other thing. Well, there's a whole lot of Zionists that aren't Jews. Okay, there's Muslim Zionists. Okay, and as you travel the world, you get to see this. You know, there's Chinese Zionists. There's African Zionists. Okay, there's, yes, Jewish Zionists. Jewish Zionists probably run it, are in charge of it, but there's all kinds of races mixed up in Zionism. Okay, and the globalist, when you take it, you take the people who basically run Zionists and governs the whole Zionist movement, there's all kinds of races in that. Even though the Rothschilds and the Bilderbergers and all that, but see, when you really know some of them, they got black folks in their family. That's very serious, but they got some of them have Africans in their family.
That's deep. So
what I'm saying is the reparations that's going to come in the blessings according to the Bible will come from them. It's not going to come from Saudi Arabia. It's not going to come from Africa. It's going to come from the globalist movement, which was Zionists, and they're pro-Israel.
So to go back to when you mentioned about selected, you're saying that
ready for me to say that. That's just how God moves me, brother. That's all. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
The say Youngkin being selected mainly by the
globalists.
Excuse me, mainly by the Republican Party, right? The higher up leaders in the
Republican Party is governed by people even higher than that.
But they're seeing Youngkin as like I said, a man that could market them and represent them more positive than Trump being more controversial.
Absolutely.
With with Cornel West and now Robert F. Kennedy, because really what they're doing, they're playing it's all about strategy when it comes to like running for office, right? So see, Cornel West was a part of the People's Party. The People's Party barely has ballot access in all the states in the United States. So he went to the Green Party. Still not a lot of ballot access. He goes to the Independent. He's like, okay, now I'm into something. Because everybody's like, he keeps on bouncing off, but it's all about strategy. So likewise, where Robert F. Kennedy runs as an independent, because see, Robert F. Kennedy is really liked by a lot of conservatives that are not Democrats. So he already knew right then and there.
I like Robert F. Kennedy. I like him. As a matter of fact, I probably would vote for him this time around.
There's a lot of people that are in support of Robert F. Kennedy.
I mean, if Youngkin doesn't win, if Youngkin
doesn't run, there's a lot of people in support of Robert F. Kennedy. And again, I always say this: don't ever think of one thing to make you feel like that's going to be your main focal point. Because again, being the fact that he was very vocal about being an anti-vaxxer, in my opinion, that's why a lot of conservatives love him. They embrace him now. Conservative outlets kind of turned on him a little differently now that he's running as an independent, because they're looking at that as competition. They're looking at him as like as a big opponent now it's making it more difficult for Donald Trump. Now that it's like, oh, you have a popular third party candidate in Robert F. Kennedy, it's looking more, his chances might have been a little more better when he was on the Democratic side, because for one, Robert F. Kennedy most likely wouldn't have been the Democratic nominee. And now that he's independent, it's like, oh hell, I'm not liking the way this is looking. But I do think that majority of Americans don't want to see a repeat of Trump and Biden. Absolutely not. We don't want to see that occur. But I want to go back to Clarence. You mentioned if Trump wins all the, if he succeeds throughout all these indictments, he deserves the, to win. I'll kind of go back on that one, because I don't think it'll be a position that he would deserve. I just think it shows the fact that the system is a bit corrupted in a sense, because it's just like, I don't know. I just think Trump has been quite untouchable, because it's not like this is the first allegation of his whole entire life. Like, he's had allegations before he was even president, and now the fact that he's beating this as president. I don't know if it would be more of deserving. It would just be like, and I'm just coming based on what I would imagine the everyday American would be like. Well, the rich gets richer, so it'll be different if I was in that position, this and that and the other. I think that's where I kind of take on that. I definitely respect what you were saying, though, because it's like you're tossing so much at him and trying to see if anything will aim him, and he avoided all those stuff, and now he's. I mean, I definitely get it, but I just wanted to I think on my end it will look a little different if he does, beat all those cases, because it's a lot. But again, like I mentioned before, controversy wins, man. People, every allegation he gets, his numbers go up.
Trump is loved by a lot of folks, okay, especially white folks. And they'll be glad to see him run again, and then he's already running, but they'll be glad to see him win again. Okay, so and trust and believe they're gonna come out and support. They're gonna vote. True. Okay, trust and believe that they're gonna do everything in their power to put that man back in office again. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I mean, I never was a Trump. I never was scared of Trump, and I always knew his purpose. Okay, I always knew Trump's purpose, even though I got beat up a lot for kind of looking like I was supporting Trump. I supported him in the first go around. Second go around, I didn't vote for him. But I know Trump's purpose. Okay, I really know what his purpose, why God has put him into that position. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with the rise of the black man and woman. A lot of that has to do with that. I've seen more businesses start during the Trump administration. I've seen black brand take off like crazy, partially during the Trump administration. I see black organizations taking off. I see black people uniting. I see black people supporting each other. Okay, for real. I mean, like, my shirt, my tie, and my socks are all from a black-owned company. Okay. I would say my shoes, but my shoes aren't either. Sometimes, but I do have a pair of shoes that are from a black-owned company. Okay, so my dollar circulates 4 times in the black community. Not that I don't support my white friends in their community, but I do. But my black community is first when it comes to economics. Okay, because we are in a position right now to build a strong economic platform, especially right here in Virginia. Okay, like what Blair is doing. Okay, she's building a strong economic platform for our black folks here. She's doing
shout out to Blair Durham, co-founder of a Black Brands.
Definitely shout her out. She's doing an outstanding job. If we just paid attention. Angela Riddick, black entrepreneur, doing amazing job with our black girls. Envision, Lead, Grow. I happened to go to one of the celebrations they had, and I was just thoroughly impressed. The little girls come up to you with their business cards, showing you how they know how to conduct business. Just thoroughly impressed. So God has put in place people that are really building that kingdom.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once that thing really gets to a point where the globalists, so you know what? Finally, they're doing something on their own. Let's go ahead and give them what they're due. And in some way, shape, or form, that's going to work out in our favor between us here and our African brothers and sisters in Africa. They're already in Africa. Black folks already invested in Africa now. My cousin My cousin is back and forth to Africa like I'm back and forth to Portsmouth and Norfolk. You know what I mean? She's always in Africa. I know people always in Africa.
Look,
I'm
going back and forth,
being in Africa more.
Going back and forth from Portsmouth to Norfolk, that requires a flight too, huh?
Almost.
That requires a plane ticket.
They get rid of that damn toll. Shit. But I'm going to be spending, God willing, I'll be spending some time in Africa. And in the Bahamas with my family in the Bahamas. Because we're building a global economic system right now.
And that's very important.
My new business partner in the aviation business, I partner with a company called Thrust Aviation out of Boca Raton. That's Latino owned and operated. This is my friend from Colombia. Okay, that's Latino owned. He has 3 Lear jets. One are going to be based right here. It is based right here in Norfolk. And we'll have 5 routes. We are the leasing company for that. Coastal Concepts. Now it's called, that vertical is called Coastal Aviation. Okay, so when you and your guys want to get together and rent a Learjet to go to Vegas, Atlanta, Houston, New York, or Miami, come on through Coastal Aviation.
Look, you heard it here, folks. Look, Clarence,
put a nice trip right together for you.
Before we end this off, man, I want to ask, being, a African American male, you've been there, done that. You're, very involved with a lot in the community. Like, how important should young people pay attention at voting? Right. I feel as though, like, people my age, younger, there's a lot of people that don't even care about voting, nor have they ever voted. Or, what do you say for that individual of how important it is to be a voter and or voting registration and all that great stuff? How important is it?
I teach my young mentees how to vote with their money. I teach the youngins how to vote with their money. Okay. Politicians are run by businesses. Okay. You get what you want from politicians by what you do, the money you put in behind those politicians. Okay. And right now, some of the biggest people like Dominion Power, Columbia Care, these guys really, really put a lot of money behind these politicians. So what I teach young people is how to establish lobbying groups. Okay. We have one. The Green Group is a lobbying group as well, a political lobby. Our mission is to recreational use for recreational sales for the cannabis industry. That's what we're advocate for. But I teach, and that all comes from Gavin, me being late for a meeting. And I get to the meeting and I apologize for being late. I said I had to go vote. And the guy headed the meeting, I'm not going to mention any names. And I said, I'm sorry, man. I said, didn't you vote? And he said, no, my money votes. And he's a CEO of a major company. And he was a client. And, and I just like, when I heard that, I'm like, my whole political landscape changed. Because now politically I operate the way he operates.
So for an individual, somebody might might receive that differently. So are you saying don't even waste your time heading to the polls?
Vote.
Oh, okay,
vote.
Okay.
No. I didn't tell him no. Definitely vote, but learn the power behind your vote.
Got you. Okay, that's where I was catching on with it. Okay.
You know what I mean? No. Learn that power behind your vote. Learn what makes things tick.
Gotcha.
Okay, especially in Richmond. And then in our case now in Washington, D.C. You know what makes things tick in D.C. and of course the state. Now the city, I'm learning, it's funny because city politics is simple. It's simple. Okay. Whereas the state politics gets a little bit more complicated, but city politics is simple. And in Virginia Beach, it's a real easy area to maneuver in politically. Because we got 11 people on the city council, and right now everybody on the city council is awesome. Okay, they're awesome. I mean, technically, anything we propose to the city, we're probably going to get it passed through.
And that's pretty,
especially if it's a great idea. If it's
that's pretty good
that
because
the city's going to benefit from, the company's going to benefit from. We got the power behind the city council now to make it happen.
That's good because
Sabrina Wooten. Oh, it's just some amazing folks in there. Jennifer Rouse, Mayor Bobby Dyer, Rocky just became the sheriff. So so that Mike Bellucci, but Rocky's seat is open for, I guess, open election. What do you call that? Special election.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome because it could be very difficult for cities to get that. Because I would say this as a Chesapeake resident, I would say it's slightly different compared to Virginia Beach. I would say you have quite a bit of diversity in your council. You have like you mentioned, it's a very good group of elected officials that you have representing.
So now there's some strife in between them. But as a citizen, I think we have the hearts of the city council. As a citizen. Okay, now what they talk about in between each other, that's on them. Look at what David Israel got. They blessed David Israel with $150,000 to put on events down at the oceanfront, or at least the Juneteenth. Yeah, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Okay, and thanks to Gary McCullum and Eric Majette. Those guys stood behind David, and I stood behind David and his organization, Team Lamb. So, this shows that the city of Virginia Beach is beginning to bend in a good direction.
Well, hopefully Chesapeake can take some notes, because I know Chesapeake is we got some work to do on ours. We are we can improve. I'll just say that we could, City of Chesapeake can definitely improve. Obviously, I mentioned about Portsmouth. I'm no Portsmouth resident, but I mean, I tune into our local news, and it's like Portsmouth is always doing something. So hopefully they can, make their changes as well. But Clarence, man, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you taking the time out your schedule, because, like I mentioned before, you're a morning guy. You host the morning hour. I'm talking top of the morning when you're getting up. You hear Clarence Khalil Neely on WPCE 95.3 FM. And you'll hear him on Crusade for Christ. Also, you can tune into his weekly show. I want to say Poolside Cooking TV. And how can they continue to how can they check out Poolside Cooking TV, Clarence?
Oh, Poolside Cooking airs every Sunday at 8:30 on WGNT channel 27. And I must add, it is the first most watched show on WGNT. We were number 2. We made it up to number 1. So we're getting there. The goal now is national syndication. We're talking to a few folks. Don't want to put it out there too much, but we're talking to a few folks. It is a serious process, bro. This is not easy. This ain't like podcast and radio is easy compared to television. Okay, television is a whole different baby. Okay, especially being on a network like CBS. Okay, it's a whole different baby, man. And when you start negotiating nationally, it even becomes more complicated. Okay, so, but as you know, we're soldiers.
That's right.
We're soldiers. So we're going to go ahead and march up that mountain. You know what I mean? And at the end, we're going to put the flag on the mountain like the soldiers do when they conquer the mountain. That's what we're going to do here at Poolside Cooking.
I like it. Clarence, how can people continue to follow you and support you, brother?
Well, my Instagram is Coastal Concepts VA, and Poolside Cooking TV on Instagram, and Poolside Cooking TV show on Facebook. I'm Clarence Khalil Neely. Khalil means friendly, good friend, or friend of God, for those that would you like to know. But Clarence Khalil Neely on Facebook. And, hit me up if you want to discuss. Like I said, get ready for water, because water is going to be another project of ours, and it's going to be dope.
Awesome, awesome. Well, look, Clarence, don't go anywhere, y'all. Look, I'm gonna Clarence, now we're gonna continue to talk in the after this show, but I just want to say again, thank you so much to Mr. Clarence Khalil Neely, good friend of mine. And like I said, it was kind of like a reunion party, because we hosted a show called Viewpoint for almost, I think, almost 10 months. We had a great run. Had a lot of fun, interviewed some great people. So I truly appreciate him taking time out of his schedule, talking to his homie here on the Arrington Gavin podcast. And I hope you all enjoyed this awesome conversation here on the Arrington Gavin podcast. Again, you can tune in to new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast. So wherever you listen to your podcast, hey, please tune in to the Arrington Gavin podcast. All you have to do is just type in our Smooth Club and, subscribe to it, follow us, leave a comment, give us 5 stars. I truly appreciate it. Also, you can tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via YouTube. Our YouTube channel is our Smooth Club Media. We continue to grow in our subscribers, so I truly appreciate that. Subscribe, spread the word, comment, like, all that great stuff. And also, too, y'all, tune into my radio show, my weekly radio show every Sundays in your city, hosted by yours truly, Arrington Gavin, along with my good friends, comedian Ciroc Fox and hustle queen herself, Miss Michelle Young. Every Sundays, 12 p.m. on WNSB Hot 91.1 FM, the soul of VA. So please tune into that. Oh, also, if you're not in the Hampton Roads area and you can't find us on that radio dial, it's okay. You can tune in online to WNSB. Listen to us live online at WNSB.org, or you can download the WNSB app. It is free. Until next time, guys, y'all take care. Stay blessed. Be easy out there in those streets. I'll see you next time here on the Arrington Gavin podcast.